Writing in ancient Egypt.
Ancient Egyptian writing is known as hieroglyphics or scale carving, developed at some point prior to the early dynasties period. The Egyptians referred to the writing as Medu, nature, or the god's word, as they believed writing had been given to them by the great god Thoth. About God, Thoth was born with an immense breadth of knowledge, and among the most important, the knowledge of the power of words. Like if human beings did not freely, it was a responsibility he expected them to take seriously. Words could hurt, heal, elevate, injure, and even raise someone from death to life. Hieroglyphics will comprise of an alphabet of 24 basic consonants, which will convey meaning of over 800 different symbols to express a meaning precisely, which all had to be memorized and used correctly. Now, let's move to writing creation and purpose. Most likely, the earliest purpose writing was intrigue to convey information for loss, prices, purchase between one point and another. Hieroglyphics play an important role in the performance of many royal functions, used by powerful Egyptian pharaohs and scribes to record the existence of their lineage. Death was not the end of life for the ancient Egyptians. It was only a transition from one state to another. Use hieroglyphics to record prayers or texts concerning life after death and worship of the gods. The rich Egyptians even prepared their own homes in advance, with hieroglyphics carved on the surface of town walls and inside the stone cuttings to guide them on their journey into the promised world. Next is the change of writing. Even so, hieroglyphics were quite labor-intensive for a scribe, and another fast script was developed after known as hieratic. Hieratic script used characters which were simplified versions of hieroglyphic symbols. Hieratic appeared in the early dynasty period in Egypt after hieratic writing was only for a medium. Hieratic came to be used first in religious texts, but then in other areas such as business administration, magical texts, personnel, and more. Hieratic was written on papyrus paper or ostraka, and practiced on stone and wood. Next is demotic script or popular writing, were used in every kind of writing while hieroglyphics continued to be the script of monumental inscriptions in stone. Demotic continued in use through the late period of ancient Egypt and the Ptolemaic dynasty into Roman Egypt, where it was replaced by Coptic script. Coptic was a script of the Copts, Egyptian Christians, who spoke Egyptian dialects but wrote in the Greek alphabet with some addition from the Demotic script. Coptic script were used to copy and reverse a number of important documents, most big of the Christians' New Testament, and also served to provide a key to later generations of understanding hieroglyphics. Loss and discovery. It has been agreed that the meaning of hieroglyphics was lost in the later periods of Egyptian history, as people forgot how to read and write the symbols. Actually, hieroglyphics were still in use during the Ptolemaic dynasty and only fell out of favor with the rise of the new religion of Christianity during the early Roman period. Let's move to Rosetta Stone. The Rosetta Stone is declamation in Greek, hieroglyphics, and demotic from the range of pottery 5. Temple's name is forever linked with the Rosetta Stone, and this is pyramids of hieroglyphics because of the famous publication of his work in 1824 CE, which later showed that the Egyptian hieroglyphs writing system composed of polygrams, logograms, and ideograms. The Rosetta Stone was found broken and incomplete on 15 July 799 while digging the foundations near the town of Rashid in the Nile Delta. It includes 14 lines of hieroglyphic script. "32 lines in Demotic. And 53 lines of Ancient Greek. Papyrus paper. Papyrus paper were used as a writing material made from the papyrus plant, a reed which grows in the marshy areas around the Nile River. 2,000 years ago, papyrus making was a booming industry. The papyrus were made by a highly skilled craftsman working with a specially cultivated strain of papyrus that was bred to produce a high-quality writing material. Lastly, papyrus is made from vial shapes of papyrus, and the manufacturing process is carried out on a small scale by a few specialists who choose to make papyrus.
Literature in Ancient Egypt.
Ancient Egyptian literature comprises a wide array of narrative and poetic forms, including inscriptions on tombs, stelae, offices, and temples. Also, many of these forms are not usually defined literature, they are given that distinction in Egyptian studies. Most of Egyptian literature were written in hieroglyphics or hieratic script. Hieroglyphics were used on monuments such as tombs, offices, stelae, and temples. While hieratic script were used in writing on papyrus scrolls and ceramic pots. In the Old Kingdom. The author lists and autobiographies were not considered literature, are the first example of an Egyptian writing system in action. In the Middle Kingdom. The Middle Kingdom is considered the classical age of Egyptian literature. During this time, the script as Middle Egyptians were created, considered the highest form of hieroglyphics and the one most often seen on monuments and other artifacts in museums in the present day. The New Kingdom. During the New Kingdom, these works were largely hymns, prayers, instruction in wisdom, praise songs, love poems, and stories.
Art in Ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt art includes the painting, sculpture, and architecture, produced by the civilization in the Lower Nile Valley from 5000 BC to 300 CE, which is considerable sophistication in painting and sculpture and was one highly styled simply.
The hallmarks of Ancient Egyptian civilization, such as art, architecture, and religion, took shape during the early dynastic period. The first thing, pottery. A new pottery during this time. Along with the use of copper, the Mesopotamian process of sun-dry bricks. Ceramic objects were commonly interred with the dead in tombs. The second one, painting. Egyptian civilization has strict standards for the two-dimensional representation of human and spatial portraits. The portrait of a person is the product of two different beings, the front and the side. Eyes, ears, and the full body are often depicted face to face, while the head, hips, and legs are depicted tilted. They are usually expressed symmetrically. Colors were more expressive rather than natural. For instance, red skin painted on characters in bright regions, hues. Yellow skin were used for women or middle-aged men who worked indoors. Blue or gold indicated divinity because of its unnatural appearance and associations with precious materials. And the use of black for royal figures expressed the fertility of the Nile from which Egypt was born. The main colors were red, blue, black, gold, and green. The third one, sculpture. The monumental sculptures of ancient Egypt is world famous. The defend and dedicated small work is in its much greater number. The main features in reliefs adhere to the same features convention as in painting, with parted legs and head shown from the side, with the torso from the front, and the standard state of proportion making up the feature. Let's move to the old period about sculpture. Egyptian sculptors created the first life-size statues and fine reliefs in stone, copper, and wood. They perfected the art of carving intricate relief, decoration, and produced detailed images of animals, plants, and even landscapes. The Great Sphinx so famous, located among the Pyramid of Giza, is the largest monolith statue in the world, with a lion's body and a human head. In the medieval period, sculpture. During the Middle Kingdom, pretty and portrait sculptures have been sculpted, individual details that reach a new height of technical perfection. Scarabs, the popular amulets believed to be protectors of bright products. The Golden Age of a New Kingdom created huge prosperity for Egypt and allowed for the proliferation of monumental architecture. The New Kingdom is known as the Golden Age of ancient Egyptian history. It is the period of ancestors, Tutankhamun, Ramses II, and all the famous pharaohs. The royal giant, through military dominance, great huge prosperity for Egypt and allowed for the proliferation of monumental architecture, especially works that glorify the pharaoh's achievements. The temple of Hatshepsut was the first to be built in the area for the Queen Hatshepsut. Funerary gods belonging to Hatshepsut Queen include a lioness throne, red jasper gale pieces bearing her title as pharaoh. Tutankhamun was an Egyptian pharaoh of the 18th dynasty who ruled from around 1332 BC to 1323 BC. And also Tutankhamun King Tut. The boy king took the throne when he was 9 and ruled to his early death at age 19. Tutankhamun burial cupboards contain beautiful works of art, text, and hieroglyphics. Amana art is characterized by a sense of movement and activity in images, with features being more realistically depicted.